The bottle shattered against the brick wall inches from my head, shards exploding like brittle stars in the dim glow of the parking garage. You think you can just waltz in here, play pretend, and steal what's mine? Lewis's voice cracked like thunder, his blue eyes wild with fury and something deeper, hurt that cut me worse than any glass. I stumbled back, my heart slamming against ribs that felt too tight for the lie I'd been living, tasting blood from where I'd bitten my lip to keep from confessing. I'm not him. I'm not Russell. But God, I wish I were. Rain hammered the city like it had a personal grudge, turning the streets of Midtown Manhattan into a slick, unforgiving maze. I was soaked through by the time I ducked into the lobby of Hargrove and Associates, the kind of gleaming tower that screamed old money and newer ambitions. My name's Alexander Hale, if we're being formal, but for the next 2 weeks, I was Russell. My twin brother, identical down to the crooked scar on our left knuckles from that dumb playground fight when we were 8. He was the golden boy Harvard Law, corner office by 30, the one Mom always bragged about at Thanksgiving. Me, I was the fuck-up artist crashing on his couch, peddling half-baked screenplays to indifferent agents in L.A. before slinking back to New York with my tail between my legs. Russell had called me 3 days ago, his voice a hollow rasp over the line. I can't do it, Alex. The depositions, the partners breathing down my neck, it's all crashing in. He'd spiraled after Dad's funeral last month, the old man's heart giving out mid-argument over the phone about wasted potential. Russell, ever the stoic, had bottled it up until the cork blew. Panic attacks in the bathroom stalls, missed deadlines. The firm was circling like sharks. Just 2 weeks, he'd begged. Pretend you're me. Sign the docs. Nod at meetings. Buy me time to get my head straight in the Hamptons. It was insane. Criminal, even. But family, that's the shit that makes you say yes when every nerve screams no. I adjusted the silk tie, his tie, navy with subtle pinstripes, and flashed my badge at security. The elevator hummed upward, 37 floors of glass and steel, depositing me into a world of hushed whispers and leather-bound briefs. Russell's office overlooked Bryant Park, the leaves below a soggy red-gold carpet under the storm. I sank into his chair, the leather creaking like a confession, and fired up his computer. Emails flooded in, urgent from the partners, flirtatious from someone named L. My stomach twisted. Lewis. Russell's maybe something from that charity gala last spring. Blind dates set up by well-meaning colleagues. But this one stuck. He's perfect for you, Russell had gushed once, half drunk on bourbon. Driven. Funny. Those eyes, Christ. Alex, you'd kill for a guy like that. I wasn't supposed to meet him. Not yet. Russell's calendar was clear until Friday's mixer, a firm tradition to schmooze potential clients over craft cocktails. But life, as it turns out, loves a good plot twist. It started with coffee. Or, more accurately, with me spilling it. I'd wandered down to the firm's cafe on the mezzanine, needing caffeine to steady the imposter jitters, when I collided with a wall of tailored wool. Hot liquid bloomed across his crisp white shirt, and I froze, staring up at the bluest eyes I'd ever drowned in. They narrowed, then softened with amusement. Well, that's one way to make an entrance. Russell, Lewis Whitaker. Tall, broad-shouldered, with that effortless Ivy League polish. Dark hair swept back, a jawline that could cut verdicts. He was a junior partner at a rival firm, here for a consult on a merger case. Russell had mentioned him in passing, but words didn't do justice. close. He smelled like sandalwood and rain, and his laugh, low, rumbling, hit me like a gut punch. Shit. I'm, sorry, I stammered, grabbing napkins from the counter. Our hands brushed as I dabbed at his chest, and electricity zipped up my arm. Too close. Way too close. Let me buy you a new one. Or dry cleaning. Or both. He caught my wrist gently, his thumb grazing my pulse point. Easy there, cowboy. It's just a shirt. Besides, I've been meaning to burn this thing. Reminds me of too many losing arguments. His gaze lingered, praising, and I felt exposed, like he could see the fraud beneath the facade. But then he grinned, crooked and warm. Coffee's on you next time, though. Deal? Deal, I said, my voice steadier than I felt. We chatted easy, like we'd done this 100 times. He ribbed me about Russell's infamous closing argument in the Peterson case, the one that made headlines. I bullshitted my way through, channeling my brother's clipped cadence. But inside, I was reeling. Lewis talked about his own cases, eyes lighting up over antitrust battles. But there was a shadow there too. A recent breakup with some Wall Street prick who'd bailed when things got too real. Vulnerable. Human. The kind of guy who made you want to drop your guard and never pick it up. By the time we parted, him heading to a conference room, me back to my office, I was buzzing. Not just from the adrenaline of the close call, but from him. The way he leaned in when he laughed. The subtle flex of his forearms as he gestured. It was wrong. All of it. But as I stared at the city blurring beyond the window, I couldn't shake the thought. What if this is what Russell sees in the world? Sharp edges softened by possibility? That night, alone in Russell's Tribeca loft, minimalist chic with exposed brick and abstract prints I secretly hated, I poured a scotch and scrolled Lewis's LinkedIn like a stalker. Profile pic, him on a sailboat off the Cape, wind-tousled and grinning. Posts about pro bono work for LGBTQ plus youth shelters. Quotes from Auden that hit too close to home. I texted Russell a status update. All good. Firm's buzzing. Met your friend L, nice guy. Dots danced. Then told you. Don't fuck it up. I set the phone down, guilt gnawing like bad takeout. But sleep came with dreams of blue eyes and unspoken promises. The next morning brought the first real test, a strategy session with the partners. Hargrove himself, silver fox with a voice like gravel, grilled me on the Thompson merger. I parroted Russell's notes, heart in my throat, but nailed the rebuttal on liability clauses. Nods of approval. Fist bump from Elena, the litigator who scared everyone. Knew you had it in you. Hail. Lunch was a victory lap at the firm's rooftop grill, but midway through my steak frites, my phone buzzed. Lewis. Survived the spill? Owe you that coffee. 3 p.m. The gray dog? Panic. Euphoria. Both. I typed back. Wouldn't miss it. The gray dog was a hole-in-the-wall on University Place. All mismatched chairs and chalkboard menus. NYC's beating heart for overworked dreamers. I arrived early, fidgeting with Russell's cufflinks. And there he was, already at a corner table, sleeves rolled up, nursing a black drip. You clean up nice, he said, standing to pull out my chair. Gallant. Old-school charm wrapped in modern edge. We talked for hours. Or rather, he talked, and I listened greedily. Grew up in Boston, Irish-Italian stock. The kid who came out at 16 and got disowned by his dad before clawing his way to Yale on scholarships and spite. Law was his armor, but beneath it, A poet's soul. He'd written bad verse in undergrad, still jotted lines in his notebook during trials. Keeps me sane, he admitted, tracing the rim of his mug. What about you, Russell? Beyond the briefs, what keeps you up at night? The question landed like a landmine. I hedged, the usual justice, or whatever we tell ourselves it is. Lame. But he leaned closer, eyes searching. Bullshit. I see you, you know. The weight you carry. Like you're always one step from unraveling. My throat tightened. He wasn't wrong. Not about Russell. Anyway. But in that moment, staring at his earnest face, I wondered if he saw me. Alex, the twin who wrote stories about men like us, fractured and fierce. By sunset, we'd wandered to Washington Square Arch, the rain a distant memory under clearing skies. Jazz from a street busker wove through the air, and when Lewis slung an arm around my shoulders, casual, testing, I didn't pull away. You're different today, he murmured. Lighter. Like you're finally breathing. I swallowed the truth. Let the lie linger. As we parted with a hug that lasted too long, his lips brushing my ear. See you at the mixer? I knew I was in deep. Deeper than pretend. And Russell's return loomed like a storm on the horizon. The week blurred into a dangerous rhythm. Mornings in the office, bluffing through memos and mock trials. Afternoons stolen with Lewis. Coffee turning to dinners at dim-lit bistros in the village. Walks along the High Line where the city lights danced on the Hudson like fireflies on steroids. He opened up more. The fear of being the gay lawyer in boardrooms full of suits who smiled to your face and whispered behind your back. The ache of holidays alone after his ex ghosted. I shared Russell's stories, embellished with my own heartaches, the scripts that never sold, the nights wondering if I was built for anything real. Felt like confession, each word a brick in a wall I was building between us and the inevitable crash. Friday's mixer was at the Skylark, a penthouse lounge with views that made you feel like you owned the skyline. I spotted him across the room, navy suit hugging his frame, laughing with Elena, and my pulse stuttered. He crossed the floor like he belonged there, handing me a gin and tonic with a wink. To surviving another week, our fingers touched, and the spark was a goddamn inferno. We danced slow, bodies close amid the thrum of indie rock and clinking glasses. His hand at the small of my back, breath warm on my neck. I've been thinking, he said, voice low as the song shifted to something soulful. About us. If that's what this is. My mind blanked. Us. There was no us. Only borrowed time. But I nodded, pulled him closer, and when his lips found mine in a shadowed corner, soft at first, then hungry, tasting of gin and longing, I melted into it. The kiss was a revelation. Tender, insistent, like he'd been waiting lifetimes. Applause faded. The city below vanished. Just him, me, and the lie that tasted like truth. We didn't go back to the loft that night. His place in Chelsea was a brownstone walk-up, bookshelves groaning with law tomes and dog-eared paperbacks. A king bed piled with downy quilts. Clothes shed in a trail from door to sheets. His body over mine strong, scarred from a childhood fall off his bike. Skin fever hot. He mapped me with hands and mouth, whispering my brother's name like a prayer. Russell. God. Russell. Each thrust, each gasp, chipped at my resolve. I arched into him, nails digging crescents into his shoulders, chasing oblivion in the rhythm of skin on skin. It was raw, reverent, love wrapped in lust, the kind that leaves you hollowed out and full in equal measure. After, tangled in sheets that smelled of him, he traced lazy circles on my chest. "I didn't plan this," he murmured, vulnerability cracking his voice. "But it feels right." "You feel right." Guilt surged, bitter as bile, but I shoved it down, kissed his temple. "Yeah, it does." Sleep claimed him first, lashes fanned against cheeks flushed from exertion. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling fan's lazy spin, the weight of betrayal settling like lead. Russell was due back in 5 days. What then? Hand him the keys to the stolen heart? Monday brought the hammer. A case update email from Hargrove. Thompson merger greenlit, thanks to Hale's insights. Celebration drinks after hours, but I begged off, citing a headache. Truth was, Lewis had texted, "Dinner? My place. Bring that smile." I went, of course. We cooked, pasta carbonara in his cramped kitchen, wine flowing like confessions. He talked dreams, leaving corporate law for advocacy, fighting for queer rights in the red states. I hung on every word, my own aspirations spilling out. Screenplays about twins separated by more than blood, lovers caught in webs of their own weaving. He kissed me mid-sentence, slow and deep, and we barely made it to the couch. But cracks formed. A slip during pillow talk. I mentioned Dad's obsession with fixing us, the conversion therapy pamphlets he'd hidden in the garage. Russell had never told Lewis that. His brow furrowed in the dark. "You never brought that up before." I laughed it off, old ghosts. But the seed of doubt took root. By Thursday, it was a full garden. We'd spent the day in Central Park, autumn leaves crunching underfoot, his head on my shoulder during a matinee at the Delacorte. Picnic blankets, stolen kisses, the world narrowing to just us. But as dusk fell, painting the reservoir gold, he pulled back. "There's something off, Russell. Like you're holding back a piece of yourself." My stomach dropped. "What do you mean?" He searched my face, thumb brushing my scar. "This. How'd it happen again? You said playground." "But, playground." "I said treehouse once. Drunk on Chianti." "Fuck." "Alex pushed me," I blurted, the truth slipping like oil. His eyes widened. "Who?" Heart-stopping silence. I backpedaled. "Me. I mean, clumsy kid stuff." But the damage was done. He nodded slowly, but the warmth cooled, a chill settling between us. Russell called that night, voice steadier. "I'm good, bro. Coming back Monday. Thanks for holding the fort." I paced the loft, phone hot in my hand. "Yeah. No problem." Lies layered like lacquer. Lewis texted, "Miss you already. Talk tomorrow?" I typed always, hit send, and shattered a glass against the wall. The city lights mocked me from the window, bright, indifferent. What had I done? Stolen a life, a love, a chance at something real. And for what? To feel, just once, like I mattered? Monday dawned gray and unforgiving, the kind of November sky that presses down on your chest like an accusation. I woke in Russell's bed, my bed for 2 weeks too long, tangled in sheets that still carried Lewis's scent, faint but insistent. Coffee burned my tongue as I dressed in his best suit, the one with the double-breasted peak lapels, armor for the charade's endgame. Russell's train pulled in at Penn Station by noon. I'd meet him there, hand off the baton, vanish back to my sublet in Brooklyn like a ghost who'd overstayed. Clean break. That's what I told myself in the cab, ignoring the ache that bloomed every time I pictured Lewis's face. Confused, then shattered. The firm was a hive of efficiency, associates buzzing over the Thompson close. Elena clapped my shoulder in the hall. "You're on fire, Hale." Partners are talking promotion. I forced a grin, mumbled thanks, but inside, I was unraveling. My inbox pinged Lewis. "Lunch? Need to clear the air." "That Italian spot on 6th? Stomach churning." I replied, "Can't." Deadline crunch. Rain check. Dots. Then, "Everything okay?" Talk to Russ. "Wait, you're Russ." Feels weird typing that. A laugh emoji, but it landed like a sob. I deleted the thread, blocked the guilt. Russell looked tanned, almost himself, when he stepped off the platform, khakis and a cable knit, duffel slung over one shoulder. We hugged awkwardly, the kind of embrace that says thanks and sorry without words. "You saved my ass," he said over bad station coffee. I scanning my face. "Look. About the panic shit. Therapy starts next week." "I'm good." Relief washed over me, mingled with envy. He was the phoenix, I was the ash. Back at the loft, handover was clinical, files on the merger, passwords scribbled on a post-it, a rundown of the week's wins. He paused at Lewis's name, brow quirking. "You meet him? How'd that go?" Casual, but his eyes sharpened, brotherly radar pinging. I shrugged, throat dry. "Yeah. Coffee once or twice. Solid guy. You two should." Trailed off. He nodded, a flicker of something, hope, crossing his face. "Yeah. Been texting." Mixer sealed it. "Huh? Thanks for the nudge." Nudge. That's what I'd call it. As he unpacked, humming some Springsteen tune Dad loved, I slipped out for errands, really just needing air that didn't reek of my mistakes. The streets were alive with the pre-Thanksgiving rush. Vendors hawking roasted chestnuts, tourists snapping pics of the Empire State bathed in seasonal glow. I wandered to the High Line, our spot, and sat on a bench overlooking the rail yards. My phone buzzed, unknown number. "It's Lewis. Russ gave me his personal line. Call me, please." I couldn't. Instead, I drafted a screenplay scene in my notes app. Twins in a funhouse mirror. One stepping through to steal the other's reflection, only to find it bleeds when touched. Delete. Rewrite. Repeat until dusk chased me home. Russell was on the couch when I returned, laptop open to case law, but he closed it quick. "Out with friends." Lie easy on his tongue. I nodded, raiding the fridge for a beer. We talked shop surface stuff, avoiding the elephant in the Armani. But as night deepened, bourbon loosening tongues, he leaned in. "Seriously, though, Lewis, you think he's worth it?" My grip tightened on the glass. "Why ask me?" He shrugged, vulnerability peeking through. "You're the romantic. The one who believes in that soulmate crap. Me? I'm just trying not to fuck up another thing. Soulmate." The word hung heavy. I wanted to scream. He's more than worth it. He's the plot twist you didn't see coming, the love that sneaks up and guts you. But I swallowed it, clapped his shoulder. "Go for it. Life's too short for what-ifs. Hypocrite." He grinned, relief flooding his features. "You're the best, Alex. Oh, you big." Sleep was fitful, dreams a montage of shattered glass and blue eyes fading to gray. Morning brought the Real storm. Russell's first day back, me tagging along as consultant to ease the transition. The office welcomed him like a conquering hero, high fives, backslaps, Hargrove toasting his return over espresso. I hovered on the edges, invisible twin, until Lewis arrived for the merger debrief. He strode in like he owned the room, charcoal suit, tie loosened just so, and when his eyes locked on Russell, the air shifted. Recognition, then warmth, blooming slow. Welcome back, stranger. Handshake lingering a beat too long. That crooked smile I knew by heart. Russell played it cool, but I saw the spark. Mutual, electric. They dove into docs. Banter flowing easy, inside jokes from texts I'd never read. Shared glances that excluded me entirely. I excused myself to the bathroom, splashing water on a face that felt like a stranger's. In the mirror, our reflections overlapped. Same hazel eyes, same jaw, but mine cracked with unshed tears. Get it together, I hissed. This was the plan. Step aside. But stepping aside felt like amputation. Lunch was torture. The team hit Delmonico's, steaks sizzling on cast iron, but I picked at my ribeye, ears tuned to their corner booth. Lewis's laugh, that rumble, cut through the din as he teased Russell about some law school mishap. You always were the dramatic one, he said, knee brushing Russell's under the table. Visible to me, invisible to them. Russell flushed, shot back something witty, and just like that, the dance began. Flirtation veiled in legalese, touches disguised as emphasis. I bolted early, claiming a migraine, and spent the afternoon in Bryant Park, huddled under a bare oak as wind whipped fallen leaves into eddies. My phone lit up Russell. Dinner with Elle tonight. Wish me luck, thumbs hovered. Knock 'em dead. Send. Then, on impulse, I unblocked Lewis's number. No new messages. Good. Clean cut. But cuts fester. That night, alone in my Brooklyn walk-up, peeling paint, radiator hissing like judgment, I cracked open my laptop and poured it out. Not a script, but a letter. Unsent. And signed. You saw me, even when I was wearing his skin. For that, I'll always be grateful. But love like ours is a thief in the night, steals your breath, leaves you gasping. Be happy. Be his. Tears blurred the screen. Save as ghost. The betrayal hit peak the next week. Russell invited me to tag along to a gala, pro bono fundraiser for the Ali Forney Center, shelter for homeless LGBTQ plus youth. Moral support, he said, but I knew, show off the couple to the firm's progressive crowd. Lewis was co-chair, all crisp tucks and quiet charisma, introducing Russell with a hand at his elbow. My +1, he murmured, and the room cooed approval. I nursed a champagne flute in the shadows, watching them work the crowd. Russell's arm around Lewis's waist during photos, Lewis's head on his shoulder during speeches. The keynote, a kid no older than 18, voice steady as he shared his street survival story, twisted the knife. Humanistic reminder, we fight for this, for visibility, for love without apology. Yet here I was, the invisible man, loving in silence. Midway through, Lewis caught my eye from across the ballroom. Question in his gaze, you okay? But Russell pulled him away, oblivious. I slipped out to the terrace, city sprawl glittering like a promise unkept. Footsteps behind, Lewis, loosening his bow tie. Hey. You vanished. Wind tugged at his hair. He looked ethereal, untouchable. Just needed air. Lame. He stepped closer, concern etching lines around his mouth. You've been weird since Russ came back. Like you're fading. The word pierced. Fading. That's exactly it, erased by my own hand. It's nothing. He reached for my arm, fingers warm through wool. Talk to me. Please. Time stretched, taut as a wire. Confess? End it all in one breath? But Russell appeared then, silhouette in the doorway. There you are. Speech time, Lewis? Expectant smile. Lewis hesitated, eyes pleading, then nodded. Coming. To me. This isn't over. But as they walked away, arms linked, I knew it was. Betrayal wasn't just mine. It was the universe's joke on a twin too greedy for his own reflection. The fallout brewed slow. Russell started staying at Lewis's more, late nights turning to overnights, texts pinging at dawn. It's good, Alex. Real good, gushing over breakfasts I cooked to keep sane. I nodded, smiled, scripted encouragement. But inside, the green-eyed monster gnawed. Jealousy not just for the love, but the ease. Russell fit. I fractured. Climax crashed on a Friday, 2 weeks post-return. I'd been dodging Lewis's check-ins, polite coffees that felt like minefields. But he cornered me in the firm's archive room. Dusty stacks of precedents are only witnesses. What the hell, Russell? Or whoever you are. Voice low, furious. He'd pieced it. The Scar story mismatch. My Alex slip. The way I looked at him like a stranger in love. I froze, pulse thundering. Lewis. He advanced, backing me against a shelf, books digging into my spine. You're not him. The real Russell? He's steady, guarded. You're fire, wild, open. I fell for you in that cafe. You idiot. Rage, pain, desire crashing in his eyes. My breath hitched. I didn't mean it was supposed to be temporary. For him, he laughed, bitter. Temporary? You wrecked me, Alex. The name on his lips, my name like absolution. Then he kissed me, hard and claiming, hands fisting my shirt. Kissed back, desperate, the world tilting. But the door creaked, Russell, file in hand. What the fuck? Time splintered. Russell's face, shock to horror to heartbreak. Lewis pulled away, chest heaving. Russ, it's not. But Russell's eyes locked on mine, twin intuition cutting through. You. It was you, not accusation, devastation. The betrayal landed triple-fold. Me to him, me to Lewis, Lewis to us both. He dropped the file, pages scattering like confetti at a funeral. Get out. Both of you. Door slammed, echo deafening. The alley behind the firm reeked of garbage and regret. Rain starting up again in fat, punishing drops that soaked through my jacket like tears I couldn't shed. Russell had stormed out after the archive blowout, barking at security to escort us, me, from the building. Lewis had followed, silent fury radiating, until we hit the street. We need to talk, he'd growled, dragging me into the shadows between dumpsters and loading docks. But words failed. Instead, the bottle, a discarded Heineken from some intern's pity party, shattered against the wall as his fist swung wild, missing me by inches. You played me, he spat, rain streaking his face, mixing with the raw edge of betrayal. Us. like we were props in your little twin swap fantasy. I flinched, back to the cold brick, the scar on my knuckle throbbing like a brand. It wasn't a fantasy. Started as a favor Russell was breaking. Lewis. I couldn't let him drown. My voice cracked, pleading. But you. God. From that first spill, you saw through the suit. To me, he advanced, chest heaving, blue eyes stormy under the neon buzz of the exit sign. Saw what? A liar? A thief? But his hands trembled as he gripped my collar, yanking me close not to hit, but to hold, foreheads touching in the downpour. I loved you, Alex. The real you. Messy stories and midnight confessions. Not this. Ghost. Loved. Past tense. A gut punch. I clutched his wrists, rain blurring the line between us. I love you too. Still do. That's why it hurts so much. The admission hung, electric, as thunder rumbled distant. His breath hitched, lips parting. Then he kissed me, fierce and fracturing, salt of tears on our tongues. It was absolution and apocalypse. Bodies slamming together against the wall, hands roaming desperate under wet clothes. Zipper teeth, slick skin, gasp swallowed in the storm. We fucked like it was the end, hard, unyielding, chasing forgiveness in friction. His nails raked my back. I bit his shoulder to muffle a sob. Climax hit like lightning, leaving us slumped, bent, the rain washing away evidence but not the ache. He pulled away first, zipping up with shaking hands. This doesn't fix it. Voice rough, wrecked. Russell, he's collateral. And me? I don't know who I am with you. He backed off, silhouette fading into the alley's mouth. Don't call. Figure your shit out. Then gone, swallowed by the city's indifferent glow. I stood there until numbness set in, then trudged to the loft, Russell's loft. No longer mine. He was there, packing a suitcase with mechanical precision, face a mask of controlled fury. Lewis called. Explained. Flat tone. Eyes avoiding mine. You're out. Tomorrow. No yelling. Just the quiet devastation of blood turned cold. Russ. Please. Hear me. He whirled. Bagel knife in hand. Not threatening. But the glint made me step back. Hear you? I trusted you. With everything. My job. My life. Him. Voice breaking on the last. You wore my skin and bedded my future. What am I supposed to say? Bro. My bad? Tears tracked his cheeks, mirroring mine. Twins in torment. It wasn't planned. It just happened. Lame. Even to me. He laughed. Hollow. Love doesn't just happen, Alex. It's chosen. You chose to lie. He zipped the case, final as a gavel. I'm staying at a hotel. Firm's taking a leave indefinite. And Lewis, if he wants me after this clusterfuck, that's on him. But you, we're done. The door clicked shut, leaving silence thicker than fog. I sank to the floor, back to the wall where we'd carved initials as kids, RNA, forever entwined. Now severed. Dawn crept in, gray light exposing the wreckage, scattered files, half-empty scotch, my heart in shards. Word spread fast in the legal echo chamber. By noon, Elena texted, WTF, hail, impersonation, partners are livid. Hargrove called next, formal termination for Russell, pending investigation. Breach of trust, he barked. You're poison to this firm. I didn't fight it. What was there to say? Instead, I packed my own bag, jeans, hoodies, the laptop with its unsent ghosts, and headed to Brooklyn. The sublet a cold welcome with its leaky faucet and ghosts of failed additions. Isolation bred reflection. Days blurred. Takeout containers piling. Scripts abandoned mid-page. I walked the bridges at night, Brooklyn to Manhattan. Lights mocking my solitude. Replaying the alley, the archive, that first coffee stain. Humanistic truth. We all wear masks, but some fits too well, blurring the man beneath. Russell texted once, therapy's helping. Don't contact me. Block. Lewis, radio silence. A void that echoed. But New York doesn't let you wallow long. A week in, my agent, bless her pushy soul, landed a gig, ghostwriting for an indie director's romdram. Twin brothers, identity swap, forbidden love, she pitched over Zoom. Sounds personal. I took it, channeling the pain into pages that bled authenticity. Words as therapy, catharsis in courier font. The turning point came unannounced. A knock at midnight, rain pattering like hesitant fingers. Lewis on the stoop, drenched in a peacoat, ice shadowed. Can't sleep. Can't stop thinking. No preamble. I stepped aside, wordless, and he entered, space shrinking around us. Coffee brewed strong, black. We sat at the scarred formica table, steam curling like questions. I confronted Russell, he started, voice steady but edged. Told him everything. The feels, the fuck up. He understood. More than I expected. Pause, gauging my reaction. Hurt bloomed sharp, irrational, but I nodded. Good. He deserves that. Lewis leaned forward, elbows on knees. But it's you I can't shake. The way you light up talking dreams. How you listen like the world's on pause. Russell solid, kind, driven. But you're the storm. His hand covered mine, thumb stroking the scar. I choose the storm, heart stuttered. What about him? This is messy. Lewis. Betrayal on steroids. He squeezed. Ice fierce. Messy is human. And forgiveness, that's the romance. We talk it out with him, with therapists, whatever. But I'm here. For you. We didn't sleep that night. Talked till the sky paled. Boundaries, truths, the work ahead. Rebuilding trust like a house of cards in wind. Fragile, but possible. Dawn found us on the fire escape, city waking below, his arm around me as coffee cooled. Not fixed. Not perfect. But a start. Russell reached out a month later. Coffee at a neutral spot. A diner in NoHo. Eggs over easy and no eye contact. Heard about the script gig. Proud. Grudging warmth. We dissected the wreckage. His pain at the theft. My guilt at the greed. Twins forever, he said finally. Clinking mugs. But next time, be you. The world's big enough. Hug at parting, tentative. Healing. Winter clamped down on the city like a vice. Frost etching the windows of my sublet into lace patterns that mocked the fragility of fresh starts. Lewis and I navigated the thaw with the caution of bomb techs, dates in low-stakes spots, hole-in-the-wall Tacarius in East Village, where neon signs buzzed approval over shared carnitas and whispered apologies. No grand gestures, just presence. Him showing up with my favorite cold brew after a 12-hour writing sprint. Me leaving notes in his briefcase. Storms passing. Grateful for the rain. Humanistic slow burn. Love as verb, not noun, chosen daily amid the debris. But conflict simmered beneath. Russell's shadow loomed, not vengeful but inevitable. The firm reinstated him on probation, Hargrove's pragmatism trumping scandal, and Lewis, ever the bridge builder, suggested a sit-down. For closure, he said over Thai takeout, curry staining the coffee table. Not reconciliation. Just air. I agreed. Stomach nodded, because dodging dragons only makes them grow. The meet was at a park bench in Prospect, snow dusting the ground like forgotten confetti. Russell arrived bundled in a wool toggle, cheeks ruddy from the chill, carrying a thermos of spiked cider. Peace offering, he said, pouring into tin mugs. Awkward sips, steam fogging breaths. Lewis broke ice, recapping his side, owning the overlap. I fell for the spark, not the suit, and Russell nodded, jaw tight. Your turn, he prompted me, eyes mirror of mine guarded. I exhaled fog, words tumbling. I envied you. The polish, the path. Pretending wasn't just saving you. It was trying on a life that fit better. Vulnerability hung. Raw. But it cost us all. I'm sorry. For the theft. The tear. He listened. No interruption. Then, apology accepted. But trust? That's earned back. Inch by inch. We parted with handshakes, formal, but less frigid. Progress. Back home. Lewis pulled me into the shower. Steam erasing the cold. Bodies reconnecting slow. Kisses like Morse code. I see you. Afterward, wrapped in towels, he murmured against my neck. Proud of you. That took guts. Sleep came easy. His heartbeat my lullaby. The script gig ballooned. My ghosted pages caught the director's eye, morphing into a full collab. Identity became the working title. Twins entangled in deception. Love triangulated with betrayal. Casting calls in LA, but I stayed put, zooming pitches from Lewis's kitchen while he prepped jury selections. Domesticity crept in. His suits in my closet, my scripts on his nightstand. Yet doubts nipped, whispers at night. Is this borrowed too? Climax redux hit in spring. Cherry blossoms papering the paths of the conservatory garden. Russell called. Voice tight. Need a favor. Big one. The merger case. Our merger had imploded. A whistleblower alleging fraud. Hargrove demanding Russell lead the defense. But depositions triggered his old spirals, sweats, stutters. Just be my shadow. Not the fake. The backup. Lewis vouched. He's ready. With support, I flew to D.C. For the hearings, federal courthouse, a marble mausoleum of justice. Russell shone in openings, voice steady, but breaks were brutal. Pacing green rooms, breaths ragged. I talk him down, twin telepathy, sharing war stories from my impersonation days. Remember the treehouse? We survived that scar. This too. Laughter cracked the tension. Lewis joined for closing, flying up post-trial. Hotel bar that night. Victory scotch. The three of us toasting under low lamps. Air thick, unspoken. Russell raised his glass. To fucked up families. Clink. Then, quieter. And to moving on. His eyes flicked between us. Resignation, but peace. You too? Make it work. For all our sakes. Back in New York. Romance deepened. Lewis surprised me with a weekend in the Catskills. Cabin rental. No Wi-Fi. Just crackling fire and star-pricked skies. We hiked gorges, his hand firm in mine over moss-slick rocks. Evenings. Wine by the hearth, bodies entwined on a bearskin rug. Slow explorations, learning curves of each other's wants. He traced my ribs, whispering poetry fragments. We are the stuff that dreams are made on. Shakespeare, but it felt new. I countered with my lines. In the quiet, you're the plot I didn't outline. Laughter, then moans. Night folding us in. But humanism demands friction. A case pulled Lewis to Chicago 6 weeks. Antitrust marathon. Distance tested. Texts turning terse. Calls clipped by exhaustion. Insecurity flared, me. Scrolling his Insta for clues, him. Accusing phantom jealousy. You're pulling the twin card again. Assuming I'll bolt like Russ. Fight over FaceTime. Pixels blurring tears. It's not that. It's fear. Of losing the realest thing I faked my way into. Reconciliation waited at LaGuardia, him. Disheveled from red eye. Dropping his bag to crush me in a hug. Missed your storm. Cab ride home. Makeup sex in the back seat. Driver averted eyes. Our gasps syncing with traffic horns. Lesson. Love's not linear. It's a loop of fall and rise. Summer brought the script's greenlight Sundance premiere in January. Russell came to the table red, playing himself with wry humor. Nailed the brooding, he quipped post-scene. Post-read beers at a dive, thawing complete. He even set me up with his therapist, for the fraud vibes, and I went, unpacking twin baggage, the eternal comparison, the imposter etched in DNA. Lewis proposed collaboration, co-chairing a Lambda legal fundraiser, blending our worlds. Gala planning consumed weekends, venue hunts in Soho lofts, donor schmoozes over oysters at Grand Central. The night of Armory lit like a beacon, we worked the room seamless. Him in tailored black, me in velvet blazer, hands brushing in passing. Keynote. I scripted a monologue on queer kinship, delivered by a young actor with fire in his veins. Crowd riveted. Applause thundered. Backstage. Lewis kissed me breathless. That's us. Building something real, yet betrayal's echo lingered. A late-night confession over rooftop wine. Lewis admitted seeing Russell post-split. Coffee, closure, and my gut twisted anew. Why tell me now? He cupped my face. Because secrets rot. And we're past that. Forgiveness flowed easier this time, trust's muscle, flexed stronger. Fall circled back, leaves turning like pages. The premiere loomed, nerves electric. Russell flew out with us, family ticket, his presence a talisman. Sundance buzz. Critics raved, visceral twin dynamic, heart-wrenching romance. Q&A. I outed the inspiration. A lie that birthed truth. Drawing gasps, then cheers. Lewis squeezed my hand under the table. Russell nodded pride. After-party at a yurt-lit bash. Champagne flutes. Indie darlings orbiting. Russell peeled off early. Your night. Leaving us to dance under fairy lights. Bodies close as the first time. Meant for this? Lewis whispered. Lips on my ear. Not him. You. January's bite sharpened as we returned east. The high of Sundance fading into the grind. But gilded now, with options rolling in, studio rewrites, podcast deals. I turned most down, chasing authenticity over paychecks. Holing up in the loft, our loft. Sublet surrendered. Russell's blessing via text. Make it yours. We both deserve fresh starts. Lewis moved in officially that March. Boxes of law journals mingling with my dog-eared thesauruses. His coffee mugs dwarfing my teacups. Domestic chaos. Burnt toast mornings. His ties on my drafting chair. Our laughter echoing off brick. But climax's shadow loomed. Life's not scripted sans sequels. Russell's firm hit turbulence. Hargrove retired amid whispers of the old merger mess resurfacing. Ethics board sniffing. Russell, lead counsel now, faced deposition dragnet. They'll grill the impersonation. He confessed over dim sum in Chinatown, steam rising like worry. Could tank me, Lewis, objective ear, advised, lawyer up. But testify true, half the drama's in the honesty. I offered witness, I'll vouch. The favor, the fallout. He waved it off, too messy, but desperation called. DC. Again, this time under fluorescent glare of inquiry rooms. I took the stand, voice steady. It was love for my brother, not malice. We all stumbled, board nodded, pen scratching. Russell followed, unflinching. I own my breakdowns. The swap, a lifeline, not a crime. Verdict, reprimand, no disbarment. He called post-hearing, voice light, oh you round two. Beers on me, relief party at our place. Elena, a few associates. Lewis grilling steaks on the fire escape. Toasts to resilience. Stories swapped. Legal war tales bleeding into my set mishaps. Russell pulled me aside midnight. Balcony view sprawling. He's good for you. The way he looks at you, like you're the verdict that went his way. Grin crooked. And me, dating this prosecutor fiery redhead. Keeps me honest. Hug then, full and fraternal. Twins, tempered by fire. Romance with Lewis deepened roots. Spring jaunt to Provincetown, Cape Cod's queer haven, where dunes whispered secrets and whale watches yielded breaches like breakthroughs. Beach bonfires, his head on my lap, stars wheeling overhead. Remember the alley? He murmured, fingers laced. Thought I'd lost everything. I kissed his knuckles. Found more. Us. Lovemaking in the cottage. Urgent as that rain-lashed night. Tender as earned trust. Bodies schooled in each other's syntax. Peaks synced like solstice suns. Humanistic core surfaced in quiet acts. Volunteering at the shelter. Me facilitating writing workshops for kids with stories sharper than mine. Lewis arguing pro bono appeals. Phone calls from holding cells where hope hung thin. One night, post-shift, we collapsed on the couch. Takeout cooling untouched. This, he said, gesturing vague at the mess of us, is the plot worth living. Tears pricked, joy's edge. No twists left. Tease. He smirked. Always one more. But we'll face it, tag team. Betrayal's scar faded to silver. Therapy dyads. Where Russell joined occasionally, trio unpacking the polyphony of pain. We mirrored each other wrong, he'd say, and we'd laugh, healing in harmony. Summer peaked with the film's festival circuit, Toronto, then Venice, red carpets underfoot, flashbulbs baptizing. Q&A in a gilded hall, the twin swap, autobiographical? I glanced at Lewis in the front row, Russell beside. Inspired by life imitating bad art. But the love, that's the truth we chased. Standing ovation. His hand finding mine in the dark theater after. Fall brought harvest. Oscar nods whispered, but bigger the ring. Not grand. A rainy Tuesday in the park, under that same arch where it sparked. Lewis on one knee. Box velvet simple. Platinum band, etched with a wave storm's emblem. Alex Hale, be my chaos. Marry me, laughter through tears. Yes. 1,000 times. Russell best man. Naturally. Speech roasting the swap to roars. Toasting to loves that stick. No matter the skin. Wedding was small, rooftop in Brooklyn. Autumn sun gilding vows. Elena officiated. By the power vested in this badass litigator. Exchanging rings amid cheers. First dance to Coltrane's My One and Only Love. Bodies swaying close. City heartbeat below. Russell caught the garter. Winking. Guess I'm next. Years unspooled like film reels. My directorial debut. A queer twin dramedy. Lewis producing pro bono hours. Russell's wedding in the spring. Us toasting his bride with champagne sabers. Kids entered frame. Adopted twins. Ironically, a boy and girl with eyes like sapphires and storms. Family barbecues in the Hamptons. Sandcastles crumbling as we built legacies. But endings aren't tidy. They're textured. On our 10th anniversary, Allie revisited. Now a muraled memory. Lewis traced my scar. Still choose you. I pulled him close. Rain light as promise. Meant for this. Not pretend. In the end, it was humanistic grace. Betrayals forge yielding stronger bonds. Love's lie birthing unvarnished truth. We twins, lovers, survivors, walked the city's veins, hearts open to the next twist. Because in America's grand, gritty narrative, that's the real hook. Falling, rising, loving anyway.